Welcome to part 2 of our documentary series, Is the Bible Real? In part 1, we explored the opening evidence, the ancient landscapes, the questions that shaped centuries of debate, and the first archaeological discoveries that began confirming the Bible's historical world. Today, in part 2, we go deeper. We'll look at remarkable archaeological finds, inscriptions, tablets, ruins, and historical records that align with the events and people described in Scripture. If you're new to the series, you're welcome here. And if you joined us for part 1, thank you for continuing the journey. Let's step back into history and follow the evidence where it leads. The Babylonian Chronicles are a series of cuneiform clay tablets discovered in the early 20th century and now housed at the British Museum. Among them are tablets recording the siege of Jerusalem, the deposition of Judah's king, the exile of Judeans to Babylon. These events directly align with 2 Kings 24-25, Jeremiah 39, and Daniel 1. The tablets describe how Nebuchadnezzar marched west, besieged Jerusalem in the 7th year of his reign, captured the king, installed a puppet ruler, and exiled part of the population to Babylon. This is not biblical text. This is Babylon's own official military record, and it supports the core historical claims of the Old Testament. For many years, some critics argued that Pontius Pilate, the Roman prefect who presided over the trial of Jesus, lacked solid historical evidence outside the Gospels. That changed in 1961 when Italian archaeologists excavating Caesarea Maritima discovered a limestone block bearing the inscription Pontius Pilatus, prefect of Judea. The stone dates to the early 1st century AD and identifies Pilate by name, title, and location, precisely as the New Testament records. Today, Pilate is universally recognized as a historical Roman official. In 1990, workers accidentally uncovered a 1st century Jewish tomb south of Jerusalem. Inside were several ossuaries, limestone boxes used for secondary burial. One ornate ossuary bore the Aramaic inscription Yehoseph bar Caiapha, Joseph, son of Caiaphas. This name corresponds to Joseph Caiaphas, the high priest who presided over the trial of Jesus, as recorded in the Gospels and by the historian Josephus. The ossuary dates precisely to the right period, early 1st century AD, and is widely accepted by archaeologists as belonging to that same high priestly family. Jericho is one of the oldest continuously occupied cities in the world, with archaeological layers stretching back more than 10,000 years. In the mid-20th century, British archaeologist Kathleen Kenyon excavated Jericho and confirmed that Jericho's massive defensive walls did exist. The city was violently destroyed around 1550 to 1400 BC. The destruction layer included collapsed mud brick walls and evidence of fire. While scholars debate exact dates, multiple excavations confirm that Jericho underwent a catastrophic destruction consistent with the biblical narrative in Joshua 6. Radiocarbon samples, scarab seals, and pottery typology all indicate a major city-scale collapse, matching the biblical description of an ancient fortified city whose walls fell down. For decades, critics argued that early Jerusalem was a small village incapable of supporting the kingdom described in the Bible. But extensive excavations in the city of David have revealed massive fortification walls, Hezekiah's Broad Wall, large stone structures attributed to early monarchic Israel, homes, administrative buildings, and water systems, pottery and artifacts confirming urban activity in the 10th century BC. These discoveries indicate that Jerusalem was a significant fortified capital, not a rural settlement, during the time traditionally associated with David and Solomon. The Old Testament describes the Babylonian Empire with detailed precision, its kings, its campaigns, its architecture. Archaeologists excavating ancient Babylon have uncovered Nebuchadnezzar's palace, the Ishtar Gate, the processional way, enormous walls described by ancient writers, cuneiform tablets referencing Judean captives. These remains confirm the scale and grandeur of the Babylon described in the Bible. Furthermore, ration tablets from Babylon list names that appear in the biblical exile narratives, including Jehoiakim, king of Judah, who receives monthly food rations as recorded in 2 Kings 25:27-30. For many years, skeptics claimed that Nazareth did not exist in the first century, arguing it was invented by gospel writers. However, excavations conducted since the 1960s have revealed first-century stone houses, agricultural terraces, a stone quarry, storage pits and cisterns, burial tombs dating to the time of Jesus. Archaeological layers confirm that Nazareth was a small Jewish village during the period described in the New Testament, exactly as the Gospels suggest. Capernaum is repeatedly mentioned in the Gospels as a key location in Jesus' ministry. Excavations at the site have revealed a 4th century synagogue built atop a 1st century synagogue foundation, homes from the exact era of Jesus, a structure identified by tradition as the home of Peter, fishing tools, coins, and domestic artifacts. The remains align perfectly with the New Testament's portrayal of Capernaum as a bustling fishing village along the Sea of Galilee. Until the late 19th century, the Hittites were known only from the Bible, leading some scholars to dismiss them as a fictional people. But excavations beginning in 1906 uncovered the capital city of Hattusa, royal archives with more than 30,000 clay tablets, extensive military and administrative records, carvings and reliefs matching biblical descriptions. Today, the Hittites are recognized as a major Bronze Age empire, confirming the Bible's references to them in multiple books. Archaeology has identified, and in many cases uncovered, the very cities where the biblical narrative unfolds. From Jerusalem's walls, to Babylon's gates, to Capernaum's synagogue, to the cities of empires once thought mythical. The world of the Bible is not imaginary. It is a real landscape, full of real places, still bearing the marks of ancient lives. In 701 BC, the Assyrian Empire under Sennacherib launched a massive military campaign across the Levant, targeting rebellious states, including the Kingdom of Judah. The Bible's account of this attack appears in 2 Kings 18-19, Isaiah 36-37, and 2 Chronicles 32. Independent records of this same event exist in the Lachish reliefs, the Taylor Prism, Assyrian royal annals. The Taylor Prism, discovered in Nineveh in 1830, contains Sennacherib's own words. He claims to have trapped Hezekiah like a bird in a cage, a striking parallel to the biblical description. The Assyrian records confirm the invasion of Judah, the siege of multiple cities, the siege of Jerusalem, tribute paid by Hezekiah, the military dominance of Assyria. The Bible confirms the same events, but adds the theological dimension of Jerusalem's survival. No serious historian doubts this invasion. It is one of the best attested events of the ancient world. The northern kingdom of Israel fell to Assyria in 722 BC, a pivotal event recorded in 2 Kings 17. Assyrian sources confirm the same event in great detail. Shalmaneser V began the siege, and Sargon II completed it. Inscriptions from Sargon II describe the siege of Samaria, the conquest of Israel, the deportation of 27,290 Israelites, the resettlement of foreigners in the region. Archaeological remains at Samaria also match the destruction level from this period. The convergence of biblical and Assyrian accounts leaves no historical doubt about this event. One of the most important events described in the Old Testament is the destruction of Jerusalem by Babylon in 586 BC, recorded in 2 Kings 25, Jeremiah, Lamentations, and Ezekiel. Archaeology confirms this destruction in vivid detail. Excavations in the city of David and the surrounding areas have revealed burn layers from the exact period, collapsed structures, arrowheads from Babylonian siege forces, charred wood, pottery, and ash deposits. A Babylonian-style seal impression bearing the name Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard mentioned in 2 Kings 25. The Babylonian Chronicles, clay tablets containing court records, independently confirm the siege, the capture of the king, the deportations, Nebuchadnezzar's Western campaign. Together, archaeological and written sources align with such precision that the 586 destruction is one of the firm historical anchors of the Old Testament. The exile of Judah is one of the defining events of Hebrew history. The Bible describes how thousands were deported to Babylon, where they lived, worked, and served under foreign rule. This event is confirmed by Babylonian ration tablets listing exiled Judeans, including King Jehoiakim. Cuneiform administrative records from Nebuchadnezzar's reign. Archaeological remains of Judean-style homes and artifacts unearthed in Babylon. Correspondence tablets from the Al-Yahudu, City of Judah, archives. These documents reveal an entire Judean community living in Babylon, matching biblical descriptions in Jeremiah 29 and Daniel 1. The book of Ezra begins with a decree by Cyrus the Great, allowing exiled peoples, including the Judeans, to return to their homelands. This decree was once dismissed as biblical fiction. Then, in 1879, the Cyrus cylinder was discovered. It contains a royal proclamation in which Cyrus describes his policy of repatriating displaced peoples, restoring temples, returning religious artifacts, rebuilding sanctuaries of conquered nations. This matches the policy described in Ezra 1, demonstrating that the biblical description of Cyrus is entirely consistent with Persian imperial practice. While the cylinder does not mention Judah specifically, it confirms the historical reality of Cyrus's repatriation program, the very event Ezra describes. The book of Nehemiah describes the rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls during the Persian period. Archaeological excavations reveal sections of Nehemiah's wall, Persian period pottery and rebuild layers, fortification systems dating to the same era. These remains confirm the reality of a major reconstruction effort, one of the key events in Jewish post-exilic history. This concludes part 2 of our series, Is the Bible Real? Today we explored archaeological discoveries that echo the stories of Scripture. Tablets, inscriptions, ruins, cities, and evidence preserved beneath centuries of dust. But the journey isn't finished. In part 3, we'll continue examining the historical world of the Bible through ancient empires, eyewitness records, and the unfolding story that connects them all. If this series has been meaningful to you, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next chapter. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in part 3.